Okay, we're starting.
Okay, so if you could just start by telling us your name and your profession.
I'm Pat McKee. I'm a professor in philosophy in the Department of Philosophy at Colorado State University. That's my name and profession.
Perfect.
Yeah.
If you have had any jobs before, what have they been, or how did you end up in the career path that you are today?
Well, I don't really think of myself as having any jobs before my present one because I went right through university, then to graduate school, and after that came straight here, and I've been here at Colorado State ever since, now in my 51st year here.
Wow.
So.
Okay. So, out of every aspect in your profession, what would you say you enjoy the most?
Well, we break down our work usually into three categories: teaching, research, and public service. And of those three, I don't have a favorite. I love them all. Mm-hmm. I enjoy teaching a lot. I enjoy the process of doing research and publishing. It's just great fun. And I also enjoy my interactions out in the community, where I have a lot of acquaintances and friends who are on various committees and social groups and classes, and I interact with them on a regular basis, and I enjoy that also.
That's perfect. Okay, so if there is anything you could change about your job, what would it be?
Well, the only thing that I have a bad feeling about in connection with this job and the work that I do and the profession of university teaching is the way that there has been a disinvestment in the support of public education at the state level. The state legislature used to provide something like 30% of our revenues at the university. It generously subsidized. They never did completely pay for in Colorado. They never completely covered student tuition, but they did subsidize it rather generously. And now over the past 15 years or so, the state support has gone away. They have just simply withdrawn it. Colorado's not alone. It's a national phenomenon, but that gives me some concern. Yeah. Because when the state government supports the efforts of the university in research and teaching and developing a curriculum for the education of students, then in my view, that tends to capture better the public interest. Mm-hmm. It seems to me that if the public owns the universities, then the universities will be dedicated to the public interest and the common good. Whereas now, with state investment disappearing, it's up for grabs who's going to actually pay the fiddler in universities. And my concern is that the curriculum and the research agendas of the universities around the country will now turn more towards serving private interests. Yeah. Who pays the fiddler calls the tune. And so that's the one thing that I have some concerns about, as far as university teaching goes.
That's understandable, yeah. Completely understandable. Yeah. Does this job offer any retirement benefits?
Yes, we have what I think are quite good retirement benefits. We have a pension through the Public Employee Retiree Association, and at least I do in my given my history in the job. And we have the option of taking an emeritus professor status when we retire, and that has certain privileges that go with it, like we have access to the library after retiring. And another thing that I like is that I believe we have access to the athletic facilities for participation in a noon hour exercise program that I participate in, and I'll be able to continue doing that when I retire. So I like that. Another great retirement benefit we have is the option to do what they call transitional retirement, which means that you teach one semester for some, up to 4 years, I think it is. So if a person decides that they want to go half-time, they have that option.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
So research is showing that people are continuing to retire later in life. In your own opinion, why do you think this is?
Well, I think a major contributor to this is that we live longer and are healthier than in the past. Being age 65 today is not the same thing as being 65 50 years ago. A person at 65, many people at 65 will be younger in effect than they used to be at 65. So they don't have the same urgency in their motivation to stop working.
Mm-hmm.
And it may well be also, I read this a lot in the paper and see it on TV, that some of the motivation comes from financial stress, and that is particularly acute for potential retirees today because we've just been through an awesome financial meltdown just a few years ago. And that has, so I read, that has impacted a good many potential retirees.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. What do you feel are some challenges that you face or have faced with this job?
Well, whenever I think about being a university professor, having that as one quote-unquote job, I immediately think not of the challenges, but how free this way of making your living, how free it is of challenges or problems. There are challenges, of course, and they're enjoyable ones, like preparing classes, trying to be successful in instructing students, trying to get your research published. These are all challenges in a sense. But what jumps out at me is how this profession contrasts with so many others in its freedom from certain problems. For example, professors are unlike doctors in that they never get sued. And that must be a tremendous stress factor for physicians, that they're constantly under a potential Damocles sword, so to speak, of just anyone at any time can sue them. Mm-hmm. And we know that sometimes there are frivolous lawsuits that people in business are subject to. So it's not like that in university teaching. You don't have that worry factor. Also, it's not physically punishing. I know many people who have, for example, had to have knee replacements because their work has involved them in so much up and down and so much punishing activity in their joints that they get medical problems. Whereas in teaching, we don't have that kind of problem. Also, in general, I mentioned stress before, but I also don't regard this as a very stressful job. If you're in business and you have to, as they say, meet a payroll every month and manage 15 or 16 employees, all of that can be enormously stressful. And in this quiet corner that's occupied by somebody like me in university teaching, where I spend my time reading, writing, working with students, giving classes on topics of my own choosing, it's a heavenly job.
Yeah, doesn't seem like it.
That's what I think of when I think about my job.
Very fortunate.
Yeah.
Very fortunate. And my last question is, what is your main motivation to stay in the workforce outside of financial reasons?
Well, I think I've already mentioned them. I'm a person who needs to be active. I don't think that I would do very well if I were idle. So if I were to retire, I'd have to find something to do, to occupy my time. And when I've thought about that, I've sometimes asked friends of mine who have retired, former professors who have retired, and I must say, they seem to enjoy it, most of them, a great deal. But when I ask them what they've been doing with their free time, they often say this: I've been reading some good books, and I've been doing some writing, and I'm volunteering as a teacher. And I think to myself, well, that's what I do. So that's what motivates me. What it comes down to is that I enjoy what I'm doing, and I can't think of anything that I would enjoy more.
Wow.
And so that's why I stay.
That is so awesome, and
Yeah.
I
Good.
really appreciate your time, taking time and doing this with us. And
Sure, thank you, and good luck with your project.
thank you so much. Appreciate that.